Alright guys, welcome back. I know it's been a little while, but we're here with another Road to Platinum video. As you guys can see today, we are here with Final Fantasy Type 0. If you don't know how these kinds of videos work, basically I'm going to give a review on the game as well as just go over the Platinum and how long it took me to get. But before we actually get into it, I want to say something that I didn't realize I didn't do. I filmed the Kingdom Hearts 2 Platinum video, and I uploaded it onto the channel, and I went the other day to look for it, just to like rewatch it basically and see what I had to say, and it's not there. So I don't know where it went. I remember uploading it, I remember filming it, so I have no idea where it went, and I have no way of redoing that. So maybe a couple months or years down the line, I'll get back to it and redo it again, because I'm planning on making another account on PlayStation where I can go back and redo Platinums if I want. Like, it'll be purely a Platinum account. So the only games I'll open on it are games I Platinum. So eventually I'll go back through and redo it. So it's on the channel. There's a couple of Platinums I want to go and redo, like the Assassin's Creed ones, like the earlier ones, like 2. 2's not on there for some reason either, but like Brotherhood and Revelations, I would like to redo those videos just because I feel like I've gotten better at making these kinds of videos since then. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, give you a little update on that. But let's get back into the normal video. So we'll start with the shortest part, which is going to be the Platinum section of the video. This Platinum took me approximately 24 to 25 hours to get. This could take drastically longer if you level up purely by doing the random encounters and like the proper way. If you do it the way which I did for leveling up, is putting your characters in a training mode and then going to the settings on PlayStation and changing the time by day. It'll automatically do a training session, which will get you up to 3 to 4 levels every time. So this just drastically increases the speed of the Platinum because you just can level up so much faster and easier. And honestly, you could probably do it faster than I did. I kind of took my time with the story when I filmed it and everything, and I messed up quite a bit at a lot of points that required me to play good chunks of the game again. The way I went into grinding for the knowing tags and also grinding for the summons, I just didn't do it efficiently enough I kind of just fucked myself on that, and it required me to go back and replay huge chunks of the game for hours at a time. But the Platinum was very straightforward, surprisingly for a Kingdom Hearts or for a Final Fantasy game. It was very straightforward, and it's probably one of the easiest Platinums I've seen in a game in a while. It requires you really to just beat the main story and then do about 4 or 5 side quests, and then just mess around with the chocobos, which is the mounts, of course, that you see in every Final Fantasy game. You have to hatch 100 of them, which is super easy because you could just go to Academia and then come out, and that set that you just put in there to hatch is hatched. So it's really fast and it's not too bad. I was dreading doing it and then I did it and it took like 30 minutes. But now to like the actual review section of the video, just because the Platinum's short. I don't think this is really going to be too long of a section either, just because it's a relatively short video game and there's just not too much to say about it. But it is a smaller game, as I said, because it was made for PSP originally, which is surprising because it has a solid story, a solid premise. Everything about it is just really nice. It's just a shorter game in general, though, and it's just a smaller experience compared to other Final Fantasy games. Story-wise, though, this game is, like, insane. It's one of my favorites. I'm not going to go into detail because it's just really good, but this is going to be a darker experience, a more gritty tone compared to other Final Fantasy games. It's a war-ridden world. Sorry about that. As I was saying, it's just a very bloody and gory and a war-ridden world. So it's just a lot darker and sadder compared to other Final Fantasy games in tone. I also just love the tone of the characters. They are just really cool and unique. Like, because there's about, I want to say, like 15 or so characters that you could pick to play as, which is absolutely awesome because you can change up your playstyle every time, which I'll get into more in a second. But yeah, the story was just super good. I'm not going to go into detail any more than that because, as you guys know, I just don't get into story when it comes to these types of videos. Just because I don't want to spoil anything, but also if I did that, these videos would be like an hour long. So I'm just not going to. This game in terms of combat is like the newer Final Fantasy games where it's not turn-based anymore. Each character has special weapons with special abilities. Therefore, each character gives you a totally different experience. You have some slow melee builds, fast melee builds, slow range builds, and then fast range builds. So there's quite a variety in terms of characters, and this makes it fun to replay missions because each time you play, it's going to be drastically different depending on the character you use. Because each weapon feels so drastic compared to the other ones. In terms of exploration, this works like the older Final Fantasy games in the fact that there's a giant overworld where you just have cities and then it's just flat land in between, you know, not really highly textured, and it's just flat grassland type shit. But there's, sorry. But then there's the random encounters as well, just like the older Final Fantasy games, where you just will be running around and you'll just randomly put into combat. Unlike the newer ones where your enemies are spawned in and you see them already, you know what I mean? And you could avoid combat if needed be. Unlike the newer games like Final Fantasy 15 and 7, the 7 remake, the open world, what the fuck? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was just, I was just making sure that you knew about the random encounters. Sorry, I said that all backwards. So yeah, as I said, you have the overworld and you have a couple cities here, and the cities are very bare bones. There's a couple NPCs in there. There's usually 1 to 2 areas per city, and there's a shop as well, and that's it for most cities. There's a whole level up system, which isn't too crazy. You just get your AP points each time you level up to buy abilities. It's nothing crazy or confusing like some of the other Final Fantasy games. I know a lot of people get confused sometimes with the job system in the older games. This has a very straightforward level up system where you just get AP, level up, and that's it. You just get AP, pick your abilities, and that's it. There's nothing too confusing about it or anything like that. In terms of getting new weapons, you really can't. There's about 2 to 3 weapons for each character, but it's just a different iteration of the weapon you already had. So it'll be just like a leveled up version of that weapon. And there's only 2 to 3 per character, I believe. There could be more. You can also unlock uniforms by getting a certain number of kills with each character, and that will unlock 1 new outfit for them. And then there's another outfit as well, but I never unlocked it, so I don't know how to get it, and I didn't Google it because I just didn't. But yeah, so there's a whole nother outfit I never unlocked. There's a lot of side quests in this game. They're nothing too crazy. There's not anything that's gonna grip you story wise in terms of side content. The majority of the side quests are going to be go here, kill this, that's it, or go here, get something. There's a couple that are unique, especially the one where you get the airship, which is currently in the background right now. This is probably one of the coolest side quests in the game, where you just unlock this airship and then you just have it in the open world to do whatever you want with. Super cool. But yeah, it was just super fun mission. I loved going through the kind of high-tech environment too, which is not really seen in the rest of the game. And it's more of just, you know, a very unique part of the world, and that mission is just very unique. And it was probably the best side quest because the other ones are very bland and bare bones. But also the airship is just very fun to use. The controls take you a second to get used to, but once you do, it's fun to just run around and blow stuff up with it. Graphics, of course, aren't anything too crazy. The art style makes the game look better, but as I said, it is made for PSP, so it just doesn't look anything too crazy. But because of the way they make the game look, it just looks a lot grittier, darker filter with darker colors, and it fits the game more. And it makes the graphics not look as bad because of the type of filters and colors they used on the game. It makes it feel, I don't know, it makes it feel kind of a way where it just works good, really well together. And the remaster, as I saw some comparison videos, the remaster is drastically improved compared to the PSP version, but it's a really good looking game either way. They also have, oh, this is the last thing I'm going to touch up on, by the way, but they also have a real-time strategy mode when you are going, like, when you are doing certain main quests. Some of them will have you go into this real-time strategy mode where you capture cities and send out soldiers and different units to go conquer different cities and strongholds. And I thought these missions were really cool, and they changed up the pace and made the game feel more unique. These are all optional, by the way. You do not have to play them. You can skip the real-time strategy quest, but I recommend playing them because they were really fun. I enjoyed them, and they added something new to the game that just made it feel a little better. There's not really anything else to talk about, though, and it's a very short game. Not too much really to talk about in terms of gameplay. It's probably a more linear style Final Fantasy. There's not too many side quests that are notable. The combat and stuff is fun, but it's nothing crazy. It's nothing new for Final Fantasy. It's a very down-to-earth kind of game, I guess is what you could say. It was a solid game, but it didn't add anything crazy or new to the series. But I still think that it was a super cool experience, and I recommend everyone to play it. The way the main missions play out, by the way, is you kind of just grind in between each main mission. You have a certain amount of days, and it's like a downtime to talk to people, do side quests, level up, things like that. And it works like a lot of other JRPGs in that way, where you have a week in between each mission to go do whatever you want, basically, which is akin to how a lot of other JRPGs are now and have been for the last decade or two. But in terms of difficulty for the Platinum, I'm going to rate the Platinum a 4 out of 10. It's not hard. You can make it hard on yourself if you don't really plan things out too much. Or if you're grinding the normal way, it will be harder and be drastically more time consuming than it was for me. If you don't know the combat systems either, that will make the game massively harder, because my first 6 hours with the game were extremely difficult, but once I learned the combat system and how to use it efficiently, I got pretty good at the game and it felt good to play, and I didn't really have too many issues. In terms of the normal review, I'm going to rate the game an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good game. It's shorter than I wanted it to be, but it was just enough to be good, and it didn't overstay its welcome. I enjoyed the main story, and the way it unfolded, and just how gritty and dark the tone was for it. I enjoyed the combat and the exploration. They just went hand in hand together, and the game just felt very unique and fun to play. The environments are cool. They're very toned down and nothing crazy, but there are a couple locations that just blow you away. But other than that, I think it's just a really solid game. My only complaint is that... wait. Oh, my only complaint is that there's a lack of variety in terms of environment and locations. There's a couple that'll blow you away, but not much else. But that's going to do it for this Road to Platinum video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys want to see on the channel in the future. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Jesus. Also, there's a whole playthrough of the game on the channel. If you want to watch it. The last 2 episodes are a little messed up because it wouldn't let me record whenever music sections played. But I do give a rough summary on what happened in those videos, and I also have both the good ending and the bad ending on the channel. Because I got the bad ending for the first time, I was like, oh shit, now I want to see what the good ending does. I was blown away by both endings, thought they were great endings. Both, even though the bad one, I think they're both great endings, even though the bad one was just super, super sad. But, as I said, it's a solid game. I highly recommend. If you don't want to play it, there is still a full playthrough on the channel. I recommend watching because it was just a fun experience, and the story hit me in a way I didn't expect because I just wasn't prepared for it because how drastically it is different from every Final Fantasy game. But with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe out there, and peace out.